Hey everyone, Laura here.
Tanya here.
We've been friends for over a decade and worked together for a long time in call centers as agents, quality analysts, managers, and supervisors.
In 2018, we started up this podcast to talk about the batshit bonkers bullshit we see and continue to see in our time at work and at home as consumers.
We also share your stories as both consumers and as employees.
So keep them coming to Q as in cucumber at yahoo.com.
We host the show anonymously and use aliases. In the stories we tell, we change names and identifying details of people, locations, and companies.
We also share your emails anonymously, so any similarities to real people, locations, or companies is purely coincidental.
So if you think we're talking about you, guilty conscience much?
Now on with the fun.
Love your faces.
Smooches.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
This job would be great if it wasn't for the fucking customers.
You're always this stupid. Did you take lessons? Just calm down.
Oh, fuck you!
You can't handle the truth.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
In other words, be nice, asshole.
Okay, let's try that again.
Okie dokie.
Hi. Welcome to another episode of Q's and Cucumber. I'm Laura Mack. Tanya had some stuff to do today, so I have my special guest here, which I'm actually a guest in her house. I lugged all the equipment over here, and we're at my friend Sofia's house. Say hi, Sofia.
Hi, Sophia.
So she's my little stand-in today, which I'm super excited about. Because we recorded forever ago.
Oh, yeah, like ages.
But that was when I had not quite figured out the equipment, and it sounded awful.
Yeah, tons of feedback, I think you were saying. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was really bad. So now we'll talk about how we became friends and that whole process, because that was really funny.
It's funny that it's a process. But it was.
It really was.
It really was.
It was a process. In a weird way, it was like we were interviewing to be friends.
That's a nice way to put it. I like that.
It really was.
I like that a lot.
Like the way it worked out. But I do want to say real quick to thank you guys for all of the emails, because I had put on our Facebook page that we had a death in the family. It was my husband's grandmother. Really appreciate all the really sweet messages from you guys. But something I wanted to talk about with her in the show is she had asked me at Christmas time, her and I were sitting on the couch, and she was like, so I don't really think I understand your job. What is it that you do? And I explained it to her, and she says, oh, so you're a performance observer.
I don't like that. That sounds dirty. And I don't know that I could keep a straight face if my grandma was like, performance observer. Nope.
Ouch. But, so first of all, I was like, well, I've never really heard it called a performance observer, but I guess technically yes, but what do you mean that's your job?
Can you Google, I feel like we should Google that, although I also am terrified to Google that to see what pops up. Just go on monster.com.
Is this like
Performance observer.
Is this like
see what pops up.
Kind of like the fluffer in the background of porn? Making sure that everything... You know, you're really not performing all that well.
Yes, I'm observing you, and your performance is subpar.
Exactly. Oh, my God. So I was like, what do you mean, like, that was your job? And she explained. And I knew she had worked for the phone company in Texas for, like, decades.
Wow.
I knew that. But I was like, what do you mean? She says, well, when you see those old-timey photos of women at, like, the switchboard, like, operator, can you connect me to Mr. Applewhite in Chicago? Absolutely. And they unplug it from the wall, and they plug it into another hole to connect you.
Yeah.
Right? That's, in all of those photos, apparently there's a person behind that wall of plugs that was wearing a headset, and it has a plug, and they walk the length of the wall, and they plug into somebody at random to listen in.
What?
And they listen to you take the call, And then they unplug and walk around. They're like, okay, you sounded a little impatient. Need you to be a little bit more patient. And they walk back around and keep walking the length of the wall. And she's like, so when you see those old-timey photos, just know there's a person behind that wall.
I totally learned something I didn't know today. That's crazy.
I didn't know, like, I never really thought about, like, the origins of quality in a call center.
Yeah.
But that was...
I mean, that seems like it. I mean, truly, that seems like it.
Blew my brain. She was like, yeah, you know, it changed over the years, obviously, when the systems got more advanced. She's like, but yeah, for the longest time, she's like, that's what I did. And I was just like, oh my God.
That's crazy.
I couldn't believe it. So I thought that was really cool, and I really wanted to share that. So she was an amazing lady. I'm going to miss her a lot. She was my little buddy, especially when George and his mother get into weird screaming arguments in public for no reason. That you're just like, really? Is this worth... And me and Grandma Weavy would just laugh hysterically at them.
Oh, yeah.
And they came to realize, like, once we started laughing at them, that was the time to, like, take it down.
8 or 12 notches.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, and George can be the most patient person when he's, like, on the phones with customers. Like, I've heard him. He's so patient. Gets around his mother, and it's just a totally different person.
But I feel like every family has one of those because, I mean, I can say it, you know, adore everyone in my family, but there's always that one family member that just knows how to rub you the wrong way. So, like, for me, it's my brother. Right. He doesn't mean to adore him to death, but he just get in the same room with him for too long and I'm ready to strangle him. So, apparently that's, you know, George and his mom.
Totally. And, like, here's a perfect example of their kind of fights. George will be telling a story that involves her. And within the story, he's got to say the day of the week. The day of the week, whether it's Tuesday or Wednesday, does not change the story at all. So he'll be telling the story, and he's like, so Mom called me on Tuesday, and she'd be like, no, George, I called you on Wednesday. He's like, no, Mother. I know it was Tuesday because blah, blah, blah. And she's
my
like,
God.
No, George. And I mean, they're literally getting in, like, screaming at each other. And it's just like, does this matter?
No.
Not at all. Like, take it down. And what's funny is I see that, and I pointed it out to George, because I'm like, I'm not having another one of this. I see George doing that with TJ.
No.
And I'm like, what George does not understand, and because I am the primary parent, you pick your battles.
Yeah.
The stuff you want to fight with your fucking kid over. George does not understand this. So he will fucking dig in because he's like, no, I am the parent. He is the child. He's going to do what I say. I know it doesn't matter, but he's going to do what I say because that's what I said to do. And he will literally cause this child to have a full-on meltdown just to try to get his way. Like TJ was brushing his teeth the other day, and TJ wanted to rinse and spit with his mouthwash instead of water first. And George is like, no, you need to do water and then mouthwash. Does not matter at all if TJ... And they, like, literally... screaming argument. TJ's crying and in hysterics, like, I want to do it the way I want to do it. And I mean, now I have to deal with George gets to go to work, and I got to deal with, like, in hysterics child here. I'm like, thanks, honey. Like, it's so frustrating. So she was my little partner in crime in watching George and his mother just go at it. So.
She was. You would tell me about, like, get-togethers, family get-togethers, and you were always telling me you and Mimi be on the couch, just be like, they're being crazy again. And she always like took your side too. Like when things would be crazy with that side of the family, she always stuck up for you, which I thought was always super awesome.
Yeah,
to have an in-law that would go to bat for you like that. That's pretty awesome.
Absolutely. And she would do it all the time. And she was so funny because she was like, especially when we had that conversation at Christmas about my job, she was like, you know what? They always say that, men are trying to find a woman just like their mother to marry. She's like, I think that I think George found somebody more like his grandmother. I was like, thank you. I appreciate that.
I would agree.
I was like, please tell me I'm not like her. Don't get me wrong. Her heart's always in the right place.
She is. She's super sweet. It's just, like you said, it's the whole pick your battles thing and,
Right.
Digging in where it's just sometimes not necessary to dig in. And that's, it is what it is. Yeah.
Obnoxious, where you're just like, "Arr!" So she will be missed. We're going to go down to Texas in July and spread her ashes. So we haven't really even had a service.
Oh, wow.
For
I didn't.
her.
So she was cremated. So was there like a viewing or anything? Wow.
Nope.
I didn't know that.
Because all of her friends are in Texas. She literally only lives up here to be closer.
Right.
So Robbie could take care of her.
Makes sense.
Like, okay, fine. She's friends with her neighbor. So who was going to come to a viewing?
Yeah,
You
that makes
know?
sense.
Just us. So we're planning on going. George's work is letting him take his bereavement. They were like, no, you don't have to take it right away. Like, obviously,
Yeah.
it's fine. So
Yeah.
I really want to tell the story about how you and I became friends because I love this story. Sophia, I had started at Chucky's Bank in February, and I think you guys started in April, right?
Yeah. You were the first class, right?
I was the second
class.
and you were the fourth.
I thought I was the third, but it might have been the fourth. Yeah.
But
I know we started like less than 60 days apart.
yeah,
for sure.
It was not long.
Yeah.
And you were actually in the training class with George.
I was, yeah. Mm-hmm. Woohoo, I met your husband first.
You did. You totally did. But then we got assigned to the same team. And, I mean, we were friendly, but I wouldn't call us friends.
Yeah, no, you sat across the aisle like 2 chairs down and, we'd holler at each other if we needed something, but it was totally like, that whole work platonic thing that,
Right.
people typically have going on.
You're like, okay, fine. So then, I mean, we were doing that for like 10 months, 8 months, something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then the QA job came up on the collections side. And neither of us had done collections, but we both went out for the role. And I remember it was between you and me and one other person. And eventually we both interviewed with our soon-to-be boss. I'll call her Maleficent.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
Ugh. And I know I hit it off with her right away, and you hit it off with her right away.
Yeah.
We both talked about it. And what was nice about the interview process was we were really there for each other through it. Like, we wouldn't, like, if I interviewed first, I wouldn't come out and be like, okay, here's what she's going to ask you.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't do that. But once we were both done with interviews, we would talk about it. We'd be like, I think this answer I gave wasn't all that great. And
Yeah.
we were encouraging each other. And we thought that was going to be it. But then they were like, no, we're going to interview with another person. And
Yeah,
then
our
another
our
person.
our soon to be boss's boss was the
Right.
next one. And
And we found out it was between the two of us. And they still weren't deciding. And then finally they were like, okay, we're going to bring out the VP of North American Collections. And you and I both were like, for an entry-level QA job? Like, why?
and he flew out. That was the
Right.
crazy thing, right? He flew out.
just
out
to talk to the two
So
of us.
from Delaware
Mm-hmm.
to Colorado.
Yeah.
Like
It was
that's
like-
not a short flight. That's not a cheap flight.
And I remember I talked to our manager and I was like, what is going on? And she was like, they can't decide between the two of you. And I was like, oh, is that what the problem is? She's like, you've got management experience, but she has like the technical experience, like with Excel and all that good stuff, which I didn't have.
Yeah.
And she was like, they literally just can't decide. And we were like, okay. So, and I remember it was my day off, and I went in, and he asked me 3 questions. How long have you lived in Colorado? Do you know the person that you're going up against? And what would you say if we hired her? And I was like, you would have made a great decision. I was like, she will be awesome. She doesn't have the management experience, but she will pick up on it super fast. And he went, well, thanks for coming in. I was like, that's it.
Yeah, it was, and he asked me the same exact 3 questions.
And you said
he flew across the country to ask us those 3 questions. Mm-hmm. And I answered very similarly. He asked me, what if they hired you? And I told him the same thing. I said, you'd be making a great choice, you know? And, you know, she's awesome. She knows her stuff. And we weren't even really friends at that point. We were just coworkers that, you know, we just happened to be like, oh, how'd your interview go? Yeah, mine went okay. And, you know, and because we knew we were both applying for the same job. But I don't think Maleficent called you, but she called me before we had our second interviews and said that because she couldn't decide, she was having us interview with her boss.
Okay.
So
see, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that was how that one came in, and then apparently neither could she, and so they just kept pawning the decision off higher and higher to the next person up.
Okay, fine. And come to find out, it was a character test to see which one of us would throw the other one under the bus, and neither of us did. So they were like, fuck it, we're going to have to hire another one of them anyway, eventually, like in the next few months. We'll just hire them both. And we were like, sweet.
Yep, so our...
That was so funny.
Yeah, our soon-to-be boss was like, okay, I gotta go back to the drawing board and make a case for why I need 2 instead of 1 right now.
It's like,
and
okay,
it was great.
Thanks. Appreciate it. It was so funny. So, and after that, we started working together, like actually being QAs together. And you helped me with, you know, surviving Maleficent because while her and I hit it off at first, she came to loathe me. Yeah. And I still to this day do not understand what it was that I did to her. Somehow I just rubbed her wrong.
I know you and I were talking about something else earlier from my current job and just like the madness of how communication works. And I have to say, I honestly just think it boiled down to each of you having a different kind of communication style. It wasn't even that you had personalities that conflicted. It was just you would be normal in your communication and she would somehow take it the wrong way, and her being normal in her communication would then make you kind of take it the wrong way, and then it just made this animosity is probably too strong of a word, but it really did just make this really kind of toxic relationship between you guys.
And she adored you.
And I don't get it. I don't get it because we both started on that same even footing. Yeah. So
and
weird.
She just, oh my God. But I will, the day that I remember so fucking vividly, well, there were 2. One was when I had gotten my review, and it wasn't really a bad review, but she had told me, she was like, look, the other QA that was in the group already, Dee Dee, she was like, Dee Dee is my workhorse. Sophia is my show horse. And I just don't know what you are.
Oh my God, I can't believe she said that to you. I remember that too.
She was like, you don't work as hard as Dee Dee. You don't get as much done, but you don't perform out for leadership the way Sophia does. And she's like, so I don't know what to do with you. And it was like,
your job, maybe?
Okay, gee, thanks. But the day that so clear as day that I was like, there is no winning with this woman, was the day that she called me up and she was screaming at me. And she would openly admit that she was bipolar.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
So eventually I called
Maybe
her.
she liked me because my mom is bipolar, and so I just know how to deal.
Oh my God, is that what it fucking was?
Could be.
But for a while, I called her the high priestess of the bipolar tribe that used to sacrifice my self-esteem
sacrifice
on the
our
altar
self-esteem
of her missing medication.
Oh my God, that was our motto.
It was so, oh my God, it was awful. But she called me up and she was screaming at me that I hadn't finished something. And I did not know what she was talking about. And
I
was
remember
like,
this
what
day.
Is this? And she's screaming and screaming, and eventually I just put her on mute. I'm like, Sophia, do you know what she's talking about? And you were like, yeah, that's my project. And you were like, but she didn't give me a timeline, and I have other things to do. So if she needs it done now, she needs to let me know. I'm like, okay. So I unmuted her, and I remember you walked around, and I like to my desk, and I put her on speakerphone, and I was like, I have Sophia here, and she says you gave her that project. And she was like, oh, okay, bye. And she hung up. Didn't talk to you, didn't do nothing. And you and I totally were expecting her to call you and ask you about it. Never did.
She didn't even email me.
No.
She didn't send me she didn't reach out at all. And I mean, I don't remember what it was. It was a report about something, right? And whatever the report was, because I was building all her new reports, and whatever the report was, it was something that would have been done like in the next week or something, you know, but there was no urgency behind it. And I can make it my number one item, but it was just crazy. She was only mad
when it was me.
Yeah.
When it was you, didn't care.
No, she's like, oh, it'll get done when it gets done. And she didn't reach out. She didn't I remember talking to you after you guys hung up. I was like, well, I wonder if she has a deliverable with maybe, you know, her boss or something. And I was like, I mean, I don't know. She didn't tell me that she did. If she does, I mean, we'll get it done. But it was just bizarre and just really messed up that, you know, she'd be upset if she thought you were supposed to be doing it.
Yeah.
But it was like me. It was like, oh yeah, no, that's fine.
Strange.
It's just crazy.
It was really strange. But I love that story for how we became friends, because it really did. I mean, it changed so much of our lives.
Crazy.
You came to my wedding, and thank God you did, because you risking it. My wedding day would have been a fucking disaster if it wasn't for Sophia, which we won't even get into that. But, you know, you lived with us twice.
Yep.
Like, I flew down to Oklahoma and helped you feng shui. Like, feng shui has changed your life.
Oh, for real.
So funny.
You made a believer out of me for sure. And you know, my poor husband's just like, yes, dear. But he, you know, he's totally fine. He's like, you do whatever you need to do. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay.
Like, Tanya and I talked about it in one of our episodes, like how much feng shui has just, it works for you on a freaky level.
It does.
And it's bizarre.
It really
does. The example I always use is when Sophia was living with us and you were trying to get a job in Oklahoma to leave. I had written on that little sticky note, Sophia will get a job in Oklahoma City making the same or more than she's making right now in the next 30 days.
Yep.
On the 30th day, you got that job.
I did. They called and gave me the offer.
I was just like, what the what?
Yeah.
Like, it was amazing.
But what's really funny is that isn't even my favorite one that you did for me, because you used to do stuff feng shui for me. Like, even when we didn't live together, you would just, you know, put things out in the universe trying to help me out with whatever I had going on. And a lot of times you wouldn't tell me because I wasn't, you know, I wasn't in the fold yet. I didn't need to know. Mm-hmm. But the one that always and forever is just makes me die laughing. You probably don't even remember you did it. When I lived in Oklahoma, I had a horrible breakup right when I got there. Like, I was there less than 6 months. I'd moved out there to be with the guy I was with. It was an awful, terrible, only time in my life I had to call my family to come help me, like, move out, like, tomorrow. And bad. I knew nobody, knew no one, right? It was awful. Landed on my feet, great, whatever. But, you know, from then, I didn't know anybody. I was, you know, heads down into my job, my new career. And I just said, screw it with the dating scene. Right. And I was single for a year and a half. Right. And at about the 9 month to 1 year mark, back here in good old Colorado, you'd become super fun buddies with Jordan. Right. And I called you, you were always talking about Jordan, talking him up, talking about, you know, he was super awesome, super cool. I really wanted you and Jordan to get together. You did. Yeah. And so you wrote a note, and you didn't tell me until later, but you wrote a note that you wanted Jordan and I to get together, even if it was just for fun.
Right.
My one and only one night stand my entire life was in Oklahoma. Dude's name was Jordan.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
You did know that because we talked about
Oh my God, no. Yes. Oh my God.
And that's the one I died. You told me, because I called you to be like, I can't believe I did this. I finally had a one night stand. I was like, this is who it is. It's a friend of whatever, birthday party, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, no joke. It straight up, I was like, yeah, his name is, you died laughing the second I said what his name was. You died laughing. And I was like, why is that so funny? And you were like, well, I didn't tell you, but you were coming out to visit. And so I put this thing and this is what I said. And I was like, you're ridiculous. You're ridiculous.
Here's what happened.
And here's what happened. Yeah, that's the one that always just, like, if you need proof that this stuff is real.
Right.
And what's even
what it
crazier,
is.
I've never known anyone in my whole life named Jordan. I've never, I have a female cousin whose name is Jordan. That is the only Jordan I know. I've never met another Jordan. I haven't even
So random.
worked with another Jordan. And just because Laura here is like, I'm going to hook up with Jordan. I found a Jordan in Oklahoma.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I love
And the just the part that just, I mean, if that doesn't convince you, I didn't even know you had written that.
Yeah. And it totally
I did not know. You did it like trying to look out for me, like you always try to, being a great friend, like just trying to be like, super nice guy. I really like him. Maybe you guys will really hit it off. I understood the intent, but they always say for stuff like that you put out there, you got to be specific, or you got to be super generic. And when you,
last name.
right, like so when you try and do something in the middle where it's generic, where it could be like get together, but could just be for fun, but you stuck a name in there,
right?
Like you really, it was like I was like, yeah, okay, Cosmos, you're gonna have to just make this work here, just squish it together.
God,
yeah. So those two, between what you did for me and me getting my job on the 30th day, that changed my whole life. My entire career trajectory changed from there. Mm-hmm. And I was with that company for 7 years. One sticky note. And then the other one that I didn't even know about while I was there with the whole Jordan thing. Between those two, if that doesn't make a believer out of me, there's something wrong. Yeah. At a significant level. And I'm in denial at that point.
And I do remember there was something, you were having a stressful week at work. I remember this. And you had I think you had said like you had like a bag of dirt or something that was sitting on your front porch. And I remember because you were like, I've been having like the worst week and everybody, all these people are getting on my nerves and blah, 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 blah. And then I remembered I've got that thing of dirt sitting out there. And once I moved it, everything got better. And it was like, see?
And
there we go.
Yep. The other significant one that I did, with intent, there's the whole thing about, you place a cactus in your fame section.
It was on top of your fridge, right?
Yes. It was on top in my old house. It was on top of the standalone pantry that I had. And so, things like 6 feet tall. And I just bought a little cactus when I was traveling. You and I had talked about it, that I had, this. There was a guy at work that was like in a superior position, and he was just a little misogynistic and just not great to work with, and it was just creating like this horrible environment to be in. And so we researched it, and he told me what to do, and I went and I got my little plant, wrote my little name down. All I did was write a name on there. Like, it's not bad intent. I'm not asking anything. I'm not trying to be like, let the universe, really mess this guy up. That was not the thing. It was just like, I just want him away from me.
Right.
And that was the intent. And within 60 days, within 30 days, he announced that he got a new position somewhere else with an entirely new company. And it was an upgrade for him, right? It was a promotion. It was all good things. But within 60 days, he was completely gone. Situation completely done.
Yeah.
So there's like the day-to-day stuff that you can kind of put around and whatever. But and I wouldn't know any of that if we hadn't gone through the entire friendship interview, because we went from just coworkers to kind of bonding through the interview, and then you know, the severe bonding that happens when you work at a place that's so terrible that you just need to cling to people that are sane. And then
Chucky's was
yeah,
ridiculous.
I mean, you were the matron of honor at my wedding. So, I mean, that's just
like, you rescued mine. I was in your wedding. Like, you're TJ's godmother. For God's sake. Like, seriously, it really is. It really did change, and it was just us having integrity in that moment that really did.
And I think that's what bonded us over it too, because we shared our experiences through the crazy interview process, and you know, I remember
to like backstab each other.
and I remember by the third interview we were already so close in the process that we were both just like, if you get it, it's going to be so awesome. And I was like, if you get it, it's also going to be so awesome. And you know, and that was the mentality we walked into that third interview with. So we didn't even know they were trying to trip us up,
right?
And we just passed with flying colors. And from there, we could come back and we could tell each other, like, obviously we could be great friends because we have similar values and morals.
Exactly. It really worked out well. And it just, and honestly, I really don't think I would have survived as long as I did there if I didn't have you. Like, help, like, there were always those little moments where I was like, am I wrong? And you could be like, yeah, I think you're wrong. Or moments where you're like, no, you're not wrong at all. Like, having you to bounce those emotions off of was really always helpful. Because I'm a much more emotional person than you are.
Yes.
So you were always that person that could kind of keep me grounded. And then I'm that person for you that I can help you articulate your emotions.
For reals.
Because you can't.
I can't.
Like, ever.
God, we were together. We were friends for over 6 years before you even knew that the relationship I was in was having problems.
Yeah.
And I'd been with the guy for 3-4 years. And you didn't even, like, I remember, like, your eyes were popping out of your head when I finally needed to break down and talk to somebody. But I mean, part of it's just being super, super private. But part of it, too, was I recognize it's been a long learning process, and I've told you this, but I recognize I suck at emotions. Like, I just frigging suck. Like, I can logic my way out of feeling anything.
Totally. You can.
So, yeah, I can.
It's impressive.
It is. It's a skill. It's a skill. It's a gift. It's a gift. But what sucks about it is that, like, just I'm still a human being. That's the part that sucks about it. So I can logic myself out of it, but then there's still feelings lingering somewhere, and then I don't know what's going on because my brain's like, no, this is how this goes.
Yes.
And the rest of me is like, no, seriously, bitch, you depressed. Okay? Like,
You need to figure some shit out.
you do. You need to sit down. You need to have some heart to heart. You need to figure something out. So, yeah. And,
Oh my God.
But that's been, I mean, that I know I've told coworkers, I've even told my sister, you know, that you and I being friends was also professionally just change for me because there were things I just did not understand that would be going on because they were emotional or political, right? So you have the whole being in corporate America and people doing things for political reasons, not like the government politics, but just the political nonsense that happens within an organization. And you helped me learn, like, I got my foothold on all of that.
Right.
Just working with you because you were so much better at it.
And you were so much better at like I know everything I know about Excel because of you. Like, I had no clue what to do. And it was so frustrating. Like, I could work on something all day long and it still wasn't as good as something you could create in 5 minutes. That was so frustrating. It was like, why do I even try? Oh my God. So I love that. Okay, we got a couple of emails that we got to get to. And one, we have to settle an argument between two people.
Okay.
That they've been fighting over.
Ooh.
And we have to be the tiebreaker here.
This is like the best day to be a guest person on this show. I'm so nosy.
I love this. Oh my God. So this one is from Meggie Markle.
All right.
Which makes me laugh. And she says, I spoke to a customer yesterday, and while we've done nothing wrong, the customer is adamant that we have. And she's saying that she represents a branded insurance for people over 50 years old.
Okay.
So it's only for older people. And she says, we get a lot of entitlement rages all the time. She says, I've absolutely bent over backwards and broken the rules for this customer and made them aware of this. And we have to tell them the right process. But if they kick it up, if they lose their mind, then you have to kind of go up against that and try to calm them down.
Okay.
Right? So she says, the customer says, oh, I'm glad it's you, because they called back. And I say, hello, Mr. So-and-so. Yes, we spoke yesterday. How can I help you? And the customer says, well, my relative sent in the documents that she needed for something. I say, okay, pull up the account. Go through the normal security, but he's already off and running. Like, he's not even listening at all. And he does not want to verify. He says, but we spoke yesterday. And I'm like, yes, I know, but today's a new phone call. Like, you need to verify again. I don't care that we spoke yesterday.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like, and the guy yells, anyway, I sent in the emails. Have you looked at them? I look at the file. No email's been uploaded. But it's 11 a.m. on Monday or on Tuesday, and we close at 8. He's saying that it was sent in at 9 the previous night. We've only been in for like 2 hours. It takes 48 hours for emails to be scanned and loaded into the right account.
Right.
And she says, I explained both the process. And he says, well, you never contacted me. I'm always chasing you. I'm nearly 80. And I say, I'm sorry, but I try to explain the process again. And he says, why haven't you contacted me? I said, well, let me try this again. The customer interrupts again. It's not good enough. I'm nearly 80. I'm too old for this paperwork. Settle my claim. I say, sir, your relative sent this email last night at 9:30 when we were already closed. And it's now 11 the following day. You have given me approximately 3 hours to respond to you. I can't review the messages you've sent while you're on the phone. And even if I could, the part you have sent by mail won't be available to me at least until midday. So even then, something will still need to be outstanding. I am sorry. The customer said, so when will you be able to look at it? I'm 80. I just keep saying, I'm 80. Great. I'm
Congratulations.
sorry.
Happy birthday.
It's one of the things, like, my grandparents used to do this all the time, and it always cracks me up. When older people want to tell you you're wrong, they'll say, when you've lived as long as I have.
Right.
Right? But when they get screwed, then it's, but I'm old and I didn't understand. I'm like,
Yep.
okay, so either you're wise or
Yep.
you're retarded because of your age. You can't be both.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like, my grandparents used to do that all the time, and it was so obnoxious. It's like, no, you suck. So I'm sorry, Meggie. That sounds ridiculously painful. Oh my God. This one, I literally read it 4 times and cracked up laughing.
Oh my God.
It's like, oh my God. So, hey ladies, Louisa from Vancouver. Listening to your show has really helped me think outside the box a little bit in dealing with fucked up situations. Case in point, I work in a call center for an electricity and gas retailer. This call comes through. Welcome to such and such retailer. My name is Louisa. How can I help you? The customer shrilly says, my bill is wrong. It's far too high. I absolutely need this fixed, and I need compensation for the error. I can certainly check on you that for you. Can I please get your account number? She gives me the number. I find her account, but it was closed years ago. Right? I go through the security check with her, verify it's her, and then continue. I say, so this is odd. Your account isn't even active. Are you holding your most recent bill? And the caller says, of course I'm not. Okay.
What?
My current bill is with your competitor, but I absolutely refuse to speak to them. I want you to look at my bill and
What?
fix it.
What? 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 No shit.
Like I said, I read this 4 times.
No fucking way.
I say, okay, so your electricity account is not presently with us,
What?
correct? And the caller says, yes.
Oh
I
my
say,
god.
But you called us and want us to fix your bill. And the customer says, yes, fuck, I'm not speaking to those crooks. Just get my bill from the electricity computer thingy and fix it.
Oh my god. The electricity.
Computer thingy. Mhm.
Oh my god.
I say, ma'am, I don't have access to their system. We're not even remotely connected to each other. You can't walk into McDonald's and ask for a refund from KFC.
That's fantastic.
That's a fantastic way to put it.
I love that.
Good job, right?
Louisa is now my new favorite person.
I know. I'm loving Louisa right now. And the customer shrieks, fix it! Of course, I know you can see the bill. And I say, can I get you to hold on for just a minute? She's like, at this point, I think of you ladies, and I think about how I can figure this out. Finally, I put her on hold, and I called the competitor. And I say, hi, my name is Louisa from such and such. I have one of your customers on the line, and, well, she's refusing to call you about her high bill. She wants me to fix it. The other rep bursts out laughing and says, oh, great, it's going to be one of yours.
See, there's bonding. There's
Exactly.
bonding
Oh,
when you work in a call center.
Exactly.
Even competitors.
Doesn't matter that we're competitors.
Nope, doesn't matter.
You're with the same jacked up people. And I say, okay, so I've got all of her details. I've confirmed her ID. Can I transfer her through to you? And we just won't mention that she's being transferred to the competitor. I can call you an associate. And she's like, that's fine.
Oh, wow.
That was her thinking outside the box.
That is amazing.
That good job. And
That's
apparently
amazing.
she was like, how would Lauren?
Y'all would do some shady shit like that.
Oh my
I
god.
transferred you to an associate who doesn't even work with me.
Exactly.
That's
Like,
exactly what I did.
Okay. Oh
That
my
is the
God.
best.
That
That
was,
is the
Louisa,
best.
good job. You handled that excellently.
Yes.
Good job. Oh my god. This one's funny. It says, why couldn't you guys coach these morons?
Oh, no.
This call nearly gave me a stroke. I'm not an unreasonable person, but I know for a fact that every company has options for account access. No one just has one thing that they verify, that they can verify.
Right.
And that's correct. Like,
Yeah.
you can verify last four social, date of birth, mother's maiden name. It's never just, you give me your social and that's the only thing.
Yeah,
can
like
take.
I have a corporate credit card for my current job, and when I call them, like, yeah, they'll try to verify me, and I'm like, okay, it's corporate card. I don't have whatever that piece of info. And like, okay, what about this piece of info? And it'll be like, I'll need to go look up my company address, or then I'll see, oh, do you have my personal address? Or okay, then do you have which phone number? Like, you know, and then heck, even if I call the airline for my points or whatever, I call them and they're like, oh, can you verify this? I'm like, I'm not really sure what that is. Or what about this other thing? Like that, it's pretty.
It's always, there's always another option.
I've never come across anything that's just this one thing. Unless you're calling the government, then I might be able
Then
to buy it.
it's- yeah.
I could probably buy it.
Then she says, I needed to call a call center for a popular online store. Plus, I used to work for this store.
Oh my God.
So I know all about their policies. The story is long, but I tried to write everything down so you can feel my frustration. The rep says, hi, my name is such and such. How can I help you? I say, hello. I'm trying to log in, but as a security question, it's asking for my billing address. And I don't remember which one I used because my whole family around the USA and Costa Rica uses this account. It's kind of like with Torrid, like you earn points.
Yeah.
So it sounds like her whole family is ordering to all get the points on one account.
All right.
Okay, which is what it sounds like. But because they all use it, there's multiple billing, there's multiple addresses associated with the account. So she can't remember which one is on this
Okay.
account anymore. She's saying, can you help me out? And the representative says, oh, I'm sorry, you can't. Without a billing address, you can't access your account. And I say, no, I know you can. If you can't, you can send me over to the team that helps people retrieve their accounts. Which we had that at Chucky's, the security department. And the representative says, no, I'm sorry, we don't have that. Without a billing address, you can't access your account. This goes on and on and on for 30 minutes.
Oh, dude, I'd have hung up like ages and ages and ages ago.
Exactly.
I'd have hung up. Like, no way.
And she just keeps saying, no, without a billing address, you cannot access your account. And at this point, I'm trying to give her options like, is it this address? Is it that address? And she's refusing to say yes or no. She just keeps saying, no, without a billing address, you cannot access your account.
Oh my God, talk about a broken record.
And that's one of my pet peeves, like people repeating themselves. Like, if I'm not understanding, like...
It's not that I don't understand the words that are coming out of your mouth.
Right.
It's that I'm looking for you to say something different. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, it's the customer trying to get a different answer entirely, which made make no sense. Mm-hmm. You know, like, read my bill on the customer's website for my competitor.
Oh
but,
my God.
But I mean, but for the most part, just say it a different way.
Exactly.
Don't say the same thing for 30 minutes. Dear God.
Exactly. Then the rep says, which one is your billing address? I can only access your account with a billing address. I said, have you tried any that I've given you? And the rep says, I don't know which one is your address. And unless you tell me which one specifically is the address, I can't access your account.
Oh, dear Lord.
She says, I say, okay, give me a manager.
For real. Holy mackerel.
The representative literally says, without a billing address, you cannot.
No.
Another 30 minutes passes.
No.
Finally, I just keep requesting a manager. Finally, she transfers me. I say, almost in tears, I say, thank you. I finally speak to the manager. The manager says, hello, how can I help you? In tears, I repeat my issue. The manager says, oh, well, how about you start telling me the addresses and we'll check which one works. And I said, okay, is the address in Costa Rica? And the manager says, I don't know, let's try it. I give her the address. She says, yeah, that's it. You're in. That fucking simple. I explode into tears, tired and frustrated. And finally, I'm just like, finally, this is done. And I say, okay, I used my computer to log in, and now it's asking me for a valid through date on a card I don't have. It's probably one of my uncles or aunts. Can you get it to ask me for a card in my name? And the manager says, no, but how about I transfer you to the team that helps people retrieve their accounts? Oh, I'm sorry we weren't there to coach them for you.
Holy mackerel. You mean,
my God.
But if by coach them, you mean beat them with a stick. because that's awful. I'd have lost my mind. I would have lost it.
Well, it's like when I was at Newton's, I had this situation with our health savings account that I had gotten this letter in the mail saying that they needed a receipt for something that we had used the card for. But it didn't say which amount or what retailer, or I thought it was for my CPAP that I got. Mm-hmm. But it didn't say on the piece of paper. So I was like, that's weird. So I call up the health savings guy. This guy literally answers the phone like he has the weight of the world on his shoulders.
Oh, God.
He's like, thank you for calling.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, dude, you sound like you are having a day.
Yep.
And he goes, girl, you have no idea. I said, well, I'm actually having a day, too. So maybe we can have a day together. So I'm, like, trying to bond with him, thinking, okay,
yeah, make it better.
This will help.
Get a connection.
Ask me for my name. And then we sit in silence for 30 minutes.
What?
Every about maybe 5-6 minutes that goes by, he asks me for my name again.
What?
And I'm like, can you not find my account? Like, what is happening here? Right? Finally, he puts me on hold. I'm on hold for another 15 minutes.
What?
He comes back and asks me for my name again. And finally, I'm like, look, can you transfer me to somebody else? Like, I don't know why you're having so many problems, and I don't know why you keep asking for just my name. Like,
that's so bizarre.
Okay, fine. And finally, I'm like, look, and he says, well, I don't have a manager available. Finally, I'm like, okay, look, we've been on the phone for 45 minutes. I don't have time to sit here for this fucking long.
For real.
I was like, once you find my account, can you call me back?
Oh,
you
no.
would have thought I asked to kick his puppy.
Yeah.
He was like, we don't do that, ma'am. I'm like, okay, well, could you pull up my fucking account? Like, this is retarded. Like,
Wow.
oh my God, this is ridiculous. So he puts me on hold again. Fucker transferred me to the employees, or to the customer satisfaction survey.
Oh, that's dumb.
I was like,
dumb.
I was hot. Same thing. Shaking, crying, furious. Call back, get somebody, explain this whole thing. I am livid. She gets me the information in like 3 minutes, tops. I'm like, I want to speak to a manager, because here's the thing. I have the app on my phone that records my phone calls, because I recorded my coachings because I was working remotely.
Right.
So I could share the coachings with their managers. So I had it on tape. I was like, who can I email this call to? Because this is unacceptable.
Yeah, for real.
Like, oh my God. And I was like, and I would really like a call back. I was like, I'm a QA. I know how this works, right?
Yeah.
Manager calls me back. She's like, okay, so thank you for the call. I'm going to explain this to you because you're a QA and because you know how this works. I'm like, please. She says, we've just gone ahead and let that person go. She's like, you're never going to have to talk to him again. I was like, thank you. She says, what concerns me the most about him? He's only been here for 3 weeks. I was like, you haven't been in a job that long to be that jaded, sir.
For real.
Like,
it sounds like he was doing some shady stuff, like just trying to get people to hang up, you know, like we used to see in collections where they'd just like somebody would actually answer the phone and say hello, and our person wouldn't say anything until the other person hung up.
yeah.
It's shady. We said it before. People will do whatever they
People
can.
work so hard.
They
to not
work so hard not to work.
Oh my God.
Whatever they can to not actually do what they're supposed to do, when it would be so much less effort if you just did what you were supposed to do. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, both your story and these stories,
You'd have hung up.
I'd have freaking hung up.
Yeah.
There's no way. I don't have the patience. You know me. It's the whole logical brain thing. I can't handle it. Can't handle it.
I was wandering around the house at that point, like I was doing laundry. I had my hands-free headset on.
Yeah.
I was doing laundry. I was doing dishes. I was doing all kinds of stuff. So it wasn't like I was sitting there just in silence doing nothing but waiting.
Yeah.
But it was I only realized how much time had passed because obviously I finally looked at my phone, like I've been on the phone for 30 minutes.
Oh my God.
Like, lost my mind. Oh, I was hot. All right. This is the argument email. We got this email from this couple. They've been having a fight about this, and they want us to solve it. They want us to settle the argument.
All right.
This is from, he calls himself Homo Stefan from Queensland, which I thought was funny. He says, yo, bitches. I recently had this encounter, and knowing what a short-tempered asshole I can be, I want to know from you guys if I was wrong. My boyfriend and I have been arguing about this for a week. Please pick a side.
Oh, God.
And help us settle this fight. I enjoy occasional online gaming. During the course of a couple of weeks, my connection's latency has steadily raised to the point that makes gaming impossible. Other than that, though, the internet works perfectly fine. After eliminating the possibility of a hardware issue on my side, I call the ISP's tech support. After a series of tests, the support rep says that there doesn't seem to be an issue on their end either. Then he drops this little gem. He says, I'm sorry, there's nothing really more I can do. The only thing I can offer you is to transfer you to our sales department, where they can upgrade you to a gaming plan. Right? This immediately raises a red flag for me. I tend to be very short-tempered when I get the feeling that I'm being screwed over. However, they are the best ISP we have, so I don't want to switch to another. I start recording the call at this point with the little app that Laura told us about. Works great, by the way. You're welcome. And I say, hold up. A gaming plan? how long have you been offering this new plan, if you don't mind me asking? The support rep says, oh, about a month. You should really consider it. It should eliminate the latency issue you're having, and it would only cost blank amount, an amount that would significantly raise our internet bill. I said, okay, it sounds awfully like extortion. My internet connection magically develops a latency issue when you come up with this new, more expensive plan. He's right. Sounds like extortion to me. Right? And the customer or the rep says, what? Are you suggesting that we purposefully slowed down your internet? I say, I don't know. Did you? The rep says, no, we never do that. I can assure you, sir, that we don't alter your connection in any way. All we do is add plans with high priority routing for customers who need it. See, you picked up on it right away. You picked up on it right away. And I say, so before the new plans came about, everyone simply had normal priority routing. And now some of your customers have high priority. Is that correct? The support rep sounds relieved that I understand and says, yes, that's it. I said, but doesn't that mean that the rest of your customers are now low priority? And the support rep says, So basically, you've downgraded my service without my consent or even notifying me while charging me the same price that you used to. I'll tell you what. Clue in one of your supervisors, one who knows what a class action lawsuit is on this conversation. I'll hold. After getting the hold music for a while, supervisor comes on the line and says, you know what? After reviewing the issue that you're having, we've decided to offer you a free upgrade to a gaming plan.
Oh, good gravy.
I said, and a refund for the last 2 weeks because I've paid you for service that you weren't providing properly. After a brief silence, supervisor says, yes. I say, I thought so. Thanks, and have a nice day. Now here's the argument. He says, was I wrong? And was I being one of those douches that you and Tanya complain about? Or did I handle it okay? Now I'm all paranoid, and my man is madder than he was the day Jesse Smollett drop-kicked our entire community's nuts into a lava pit. Okay. I think there's a difference for the assholes we talk about and what he did. I think the assholes we talk about are these people, like the lady with the bill that's you can't see. Like,
right, yeah.
For your competitor. Like, that's being unreasonable.
Yeah.
This, to me, I don't feel like what he said about a lawsuit is unreasonable. Like, he made a perfectly concise statement. And it doesn't sound like he was being I don't think he was being abusive, and quite frankly, it is a little fucking fishy that my internet was just fine until all of a sudden you've made me now a low priority customer.
So I adore this argument for many, many reasons.
Okay.
My husband and I are gamers as well. So
exactly.
Yes.
That's why I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is perfect. I'm going over to Sophia.
So my husband and I are gamers, and we are also both in IT. Mm-hmm. So we're both in IT. Mm-hmm. So I adore this argument. Now, for the question he's asking about, was he the jerk, right? Mm-hmm. I think I'm with you. I think that as a customer, nothing that he did or said as a customer is wrong or inappropriate, really.
Okay.
From the business side of things, though, I would not have wanted to be that rep because it's not the rep's fault either. And to some extent, yeah, the rep getting kind of, obviously the rep hadn't truly thought it through the way he had, and that's an uncomfortable position to be in. Yeah. Obviously, you have to talk to a supervisor to basically resolve the issue.
He didn't continue to yell at the rep, and the rep not being the one who made this decision.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, might be a smidgen extreme to say, class action lawsuit, so get me your supervisor.
Right.
That might be just like a
maybe
toe.
In the line.
Yeah, toe in the line just a little bit. We could just ask for a supervisor without the threat. I'm just saying.
Right.
But, but obviously the threat gets you where you're going, and it's not that he's wrong. So, And from that IT side of things, a cable, no matter how many wires it has, and the ones that the ISPs own have a lot,
Right.
can only handle so much bandwidth.
Right.
And it's the same reason why, I mean, obviously, hubby and I pay for insane internet because, working from home all the day, we both are gamers, we have so many devices that are on all the time. We're just like, give me whatever you got.
Everything you've got.
Yeah, give me whatever the top of the line is because I just don't want to fight about it.
Right.
But even that said, we were getting pop-ups that we were hitting our maximum allowed amount a month. So kind of like on your phone where it's like, oh, you use this much data this month. Apparently they started doing that at houses.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know. So we ended up my hat kind of goes off to this guy because I didn't really fight it, but I ended up adding something onto my plan just to be like, stop threatening to charge me because I went over this arbitrary amount that you've set to say you can only use this much. Like I bought internet that's insane.
Right.
Because I'm going to use it, which I'm sure there are also customers who buy it and they're not going to use it because they just want the speed. But I mean, my hat goes off to him for, sticking to his guns and getting what he needs to get. Now, that said, he better watch that bill, man, because the free part of it, I don't know if that's going to stick around.
Last a year.
Yep.
Which typically
that is the typical thing.
Yeah.
So
I honestly,
I think he did fine.
I think your man is. I understand, but I don't think you were in the wrong. You weren't being abusive. You weren't cursing at him,
right?
And you asked, and you didn't take it. That the ones that are annoying are the people that think that the agent who's taking the phone call is the one that made this corporate decision,
right?
Those are the people that are douches. You didn't do that. So I think you were fine.
Yeah, I think he was fine. The only thing, and if maybe his partner is thinking along the same lines of that, that truly and honestly, nothing the rep could do.
Right.
So asking for the supervisor is the right call, and it's the right way to go. And potentially, we don't need to put all of that information and background on the rep.
Right.
It's a learning moment for the rep, though, to hear that from a customer. They may not think so at the time, but having heard that from the customer, I'm sure they're going to be awfully careful about how they explain the priority.
Low priority.
Yeah. She kind of backed up into that one, honestly. And he did back her up into that one smartly, right?
Yeah.
That was the thing to do. But I don't know. Me personally, I probably would have asked for the supervisor sooner.
Yeah.
Some of that I don't think the rep really needed, but I don't see that I don't see that at all as one of the calls that we would talk about. I mean, you can't say it was, Q as in cute. So
No.
No.
All right. So that's our last email for the day. Hopefully Tanya will be back and feeling better next week. I'm still working my way through Bernie Madoff. So Martin von Spider-Man, be patient. I'm working on it. We've got a listener named Martin von Spider-Man. That's his little nickname.
I love it.
And I
love it.
And he emailed us about our deep dives because we did a deep dive into Scientology, a deep dive into Enron, and he suggested the Bernie Madoff scandal as our next deep dive. So I'm listening to the book, I'm watching the movie, that's going to be our next one. It is endlessly fascinating. Because it was a giant Ponzi scheme, and he literally stole $50 billion that just disappeared.
That's crazy.
And it's crazy how he did it and how he got away with it for so goddamn long. It's nuts. So hopefully, I'm not sure if we'll do that next week. I'll figure it out. But that's our episode. So thank you for letting me invade your house with my microphones and my mixer.
And thank you for having me on the show.
So until next time, I'm Laura Mack.
And I'm Sophia.
Love your faces. Like what you hear? Rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or your favorite podcasting platform. And follow us on our Facebook page by searching Q as in cucumber. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram by searching QAIC_Lara, LARA, and QAIC_Tanya, TANYA. Don't forget to check out our other show, hosted by me and Jessica James, called The Parent Memoirs. And we want to hear from you. Share your stories by emailing us at qasIncucumber@yahoo.com, and you might just hear your stories on a future episode. Love your faces.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.